the Big Red Barrelcast, the Burpcast. We're back.
Woo!
This feels good, doesn't it?
That feels great.
Yeah. Sorry, one of my favorite podcasts does that. They always start off like that. I wanted to give it a shot, see how I felt. It feels good.
Well, you seem to be having a pretty good time, so I thought I should jump in and join it.
I know. Everybody needs to join in. In case you're wondering what the podcast is, it's called The Crab Feast. It's a comedy podcast, not a gaming podcast. So we're not in direct, competition with them.
That is enough promotion of them, then.
Yes, it is. So I am Dave here in Houston, Texas, and Kev lives in jolly old England.
I do. Yeah, I'm over here in jolly old England.
Doing the jolly thing.
Just drinking a cup of tea.
All right.
Having dinner with the Queen.
All right. Biscuits, beans.
I can't imagine dinner with the Queen is all that exciting, though. Really.
No, it's boring as hell.
She's like, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I work for the postal service." "Oh my god, what on earth is that?"
For husbands there, at least you're guaranteed some really awkward racism.
Some on the BioShock level?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always chooses the left hand.
Always the left hand.
He's a left trigger kind of guy.
And the Hulkbuster Jr. himself, PacManPolarBear, is up in Canada. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? I love this Hulkbuster Jr. stuff.
No one's going to get that joke.
My dad's a military man, and apparently he has tacitly become what's his name? General Warfield?
General Ross.
No, I mean in the movie. My dad's
General Ross is his name in the movie.
Is it?
He's General Ross, man.
Yeah.
No way.
Hulkbuster unit, fire!
That's why we call him the Hulkbuster.
This whole time I thought he had a different name, but yeah, it is kind of perfect. My dad was a general, and General Ross. Yeah, okay, that is awesome.
I love how all this time not even Pac-Man got the joke.
I totally thought it was just because my dad was a general, and
we've been making these jokes for 3 weeks.
I know. Yeah.
Because we're just sitting there talking before we recorded, and he's like, "Yeah, my dad was a general," and Kev's like, "Hold the phone," and then he even made the joke. Pac-Man laughed then,
Yeah.
and then he just got it today.
Yeah, delayed reaction.
Pac-Man was like, "Well, apparently Kev thinks it's funny, so I'll just give him a sympathy laugh."
Yeah, giggle. Well, friends, listeners, people who don't like us, whoever you may be, welcome to the show. I finished Gears of War Judgment, and not enough Coltrane. They seriously dialed back the Coltrane. There's 1/10 of the Coltrane that you got in Gears of War 3, and disappointed am I. But that's all I have to say about that.
And of course, everyone is jumping on the bandwagon and enjoying BioShock Infinite because it is awesome.
Yeah, it is the goods. I don't know anybody who's like, "Man, BioShock, that game."
Well, I mean, once you've played it, you can start picking apart the little things, but that first journey through the game is mwah! It's just awesome.
Bellissima.
You know, and I was talking to the boys about it before the show. If you're a foreigner or, you don't live in North America, it's okay if you don't know what Wounded Knee is. But if you are a North American and you really legitimately thought that Wounded Knee was a reference to Skyrim in BioShock Infinite, I don't even know how to talk to you. Just
Yeah, you want to know what BioShock doesn't do? Reference other games in its game. You know who does? Borderlands 2. They do that, and you wouldn't find a wounded knee. It would be a dude lying on the ground going, "I got an arrow in my knee."
Well, they actually literally have a guy in Borderlands 2 that says, "I got a bullet to the knee."
yeah. But I mean, the real in Wounded Knee in BioShock, that was a real thing. It was a horrible historical moment.
It was totally the left option.
Yeah, it was totally the left option.
It was the left option of American being taken over. What? Yep.
I don't understand. But we have an agenda. Shall we get to it, or does anybody have anything to say? Kev, you played Monster Hunter. Tell us about it.
I'm not that far into it, which is why I didn't want to bring it up too early. But yeah, I get Monster Hunter now.
You get it.
I get it. And I also get why, no one of a normal persuasion towards video games will ever like that game. I understand that. But for those of us who are insane, it's great.
Man, I'm totally insane. I played the ever-loving hell out of Monster Hunter on my PSP, and Monster Hunter was one of the first games I bought for my godson for his Wii back in the day.
I don't understand how they've made grinding a fun activity, but it really is.
It really is. You just want to kill more stuff and make better gear and then kill more stuff. I mean, it's a system that's so simple, but it feeds itself really well.
Yeah, it does seem to have some sort of gameplay loop that just keeps you satisfied. But as I say, I'm not that far into it yet, so I could completely flip my opinion around. But right now, I really like it. It is scratching the same itch that Dark Souls does for me.
Nice.
You mean the really hard? Oh no, that was Demon Souls. That was really hard.
Well, Dark Souls is
equally is still pretty freaking hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. That game's real hard.
Monster Hunter is more punishing if you take on a monster that you're not ready to take on.
Yeah. I mean, my issue is that I don't really know anyone to play multiplayer with, so I may not get to experience that.
Somebody send that man a friend code.
Yep. But I don't know, the single player is really fun. I like it. I get why people wouldn't, but I think that if you like Dark Souls, Monster Hunter is going to feel like a natural fit.
Okay, then. Moving on. Rockband.com and DanceCentral.com were hacked. No credit card information lost, no bank account info, just your login and password may have been compromised, and there's a bunch of embarrassing photos of you shaking your groove thing on the Dance Central that may be out there for the world to see.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a big deal that your credit card information got lost or anything, because all that stuff isn't hosted on those sites. But if you're well, first of all, if you're using the same password and the same exact login information for all the sites you visit, you deserve to get hacked because you're fucking dumb.
all of Kev's passwords are incredible crisis.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still using passwords that have real words in them that are only like 4 or 5 characters long, then this is the modern age. You should know better. But you
should have 6 characters, and one of them should be a number, and there should be an uppercase.
They should be more than 8 characters, no real words, multiple different types, capitals, small letters, apostrophes, the whole deal.
I remember a time in my school career, like really early on in high school, where the internet was a thing that people were just starting to get to use for the first time, and you could virtually guarantee anyone's password would be internet or modem. You could hack anyone's user account in the whole school.
That must be a British thing, because I don't know.
I totally remember people being ridiculous. Like, I remember when passwords... no one would change the default passwords. It would be whatever it was defaulted at the start. So if it was like 111 or start or internet, it was just...
admin.
Yeah.
But if you use rockband.com or dancecentral.com and you use the same password and email to log into those as you do other places, it's in your best interest to change your password.
Oh no, all the porn on the internet, it's at risk!
This is another reason why people should just, pony up the cash and buy a 1Password account.
Okay, then.
You guys not know what that is?
No.
Yep.
Well, it's a service that... How much is it, like $40 or something?
I don't know if it's that much. It might be, actually, yeah. I think they changed the price.
Well, you pay for it and it generates passwords as requested for all of your accounts, and stores them all in a Dropbox file, so you can always access the passwords from your phone or whatever. But it makes sure that it gives heavy encrypted passwords for every single service that are unique to that service.
Okay, then. That sounds pretty groovy.
I just keep a master list of all my passwords and accounts on a USB stick that I leave in my room.
Yeah, that's a completely legitimate way to do it.
But I mean,
unless you're out and you need the password.
Well, if I'm out and I need the password, that's probably 1 or 2 different accounts that I'd be logging into, and I memorize those.
Fine then. Be that way.
Fine.
But
whatever. So, Fuse, the game that we forgot was coming out, but it is coming out, and it does something that makes us happy. It will not have one of those pesky online passes. But will the game be any good?
I don't know. It's kind of 50-50. I expect the production values to be high. I expect the guns to be good. Whether or not it'll be a hit, I think the game will be good. Whether or not it'll be a hit, that's kind of up in the air. But no online pass, and absolutely no microtransactions either. So both of those things are pretty f***ing good.
Well, that's because it's going through EA partners rather than being published by EA under some sort of first-party contract.
Yeah.
They were never going to insist on those things.
Well, I don't want to see more charging me for cheat codes and paying, I don't know, like $3 to get some skins they had ready months ago. Like, I'm good with no microtransactions and no online pass.
Yeah, I really want to find out more about this game, because it doesn't seem like they've actually done a whole lot of advertising for it.
Hey guys, E3's in a couple of weeks. Let's put the game out now.
Man, I love Insomniac. Like, Insomniac are responsible for some of my favourite games of this generation. Even going back generations, actually. But this is just, it's flown so far under the radar that I don't quite know what they're thinking.
It's getting no press.
I think they need to invite us out and play it, and we will talk about it. Invite us somewhere, Insomniac. We'll play the game, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, because we're interested. We just have low hopes for it, because you seem to have low hopes for it.
You changed the name.
And the style, and the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to have something to do with it, right?
But we even mentioned a couple shows back, I think, that we're really close to May 28th when the game comes out, and we have basically seen next to no ad campaign for it. No big previews are being given to anybody that are getting any real press. There's no TV commercial spreads. There's not a lot of online advertisements when I go to the normal places I look at games on. Like, I'm still seeing ads for Halo 4, people.
You are? Where are you seeing ads for Halo 4?
I don't know, just cruising around to the different gaming blogs, and when you go to retailers and stuff, there's still deals, and it still makes it to the front page of places. And I haven't seen Fuse listed anywhere except for like when news things like this pop up, and that's it.
If you had asked me prior to today when Fuse was coming out, I wouldn't have an answer for you.
But it's right there in the agenda, so now you have no excuse.
The fact that you guys sent me that date in the agenda is the only reason I know it's coming out before E3.
Yeah, May 28th is super close.
The more you know.
Yep.
And now we come to one of the big things from this week.
But you know what does have an online pass? And by an online pass, I mean you have to be online all the time. The Durango, Xbox Durango, Xbox 720, Xbox Next.
Let's be clear, they haven't actually announced that.
But they haven't said no yet.
Well, of course they haven't. They haven't admitted it exists yet.
Yeah, but then Microsoft's creative director Adam Orff decided to open his mouth, and you're like, oh snap, you just done f***ed up for Microsoft.
Yeah, for some people, Twitter has been a burden, because there's no filter between them and the general public. They can just say whatever they want to.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, there's going to be this always online. Everything's always online. And then I think one of the guys from BioWare was like, dude, has your internet never gone down?
Yeah, the whole thing is just the idea is the new Xbox won't launch a game or launch apps without getting a handshake from online, which is crazy. Like, putting aside for the fact that seems crazy to a lot of us, it hasn't been confirmed. And then Microsoft's creative director Adam Orff gets on Twitter and he says he doesn't get the drama about an always online console, and he says every device is always online now. Deal with it. And I'm like, every device we have isn't always online.
Wait. When you say A, do you mean A or A?
No, just like A as in the letter A.
Okay. I think that was a legitimate question, don't you think, Kev?
I just feel that was a poorly timed Canadian joke.
Yeah.
Hey, when else? How many times are we going to get Pac-Man to say A?
A.
Carry on.
But the whole idea that his justification that everything's already always online isn't really true.
No, it's completely.
Like I have a ton of devices that aren't always online, and I don't want them to be.
And even when they are, people's internet connections aren't especially reliable all over the place. I know America has a massive problem with a lot of the people in the major cities like to believe that all of America is well connected and everyone's on fiber optic and whatnot, but that's just not the case.
No, a massive portion of the North American populace lives in rural areas. So you're talking towns that have, populations of 20,000 or less. I mean, That's not... There's a lot of people living in towns and setups like that. So, and he even said in his Twitter account, he's like, when someone questioned, what if I live in a rural area? He's like, why would I want to live there? And they're like, well, what if the internet goes down? And his response to that is, what if your electricity goes out? Oh, my electricity goes out, so I better not buy a vacuum cleaner. Motherfucker, are you serious? And then he talks about, if mobile reception is spotty and unreliable where you live, just don't buy a mobile phone. And it's just the timing of him saying he doesn't get what's wrong with an always online console and that everyone should just deal with it. The same week that people are up in arms about the possibility of the Xbox 360 really doing that, really requiring an online always setup.
And still only weeks after SimCity.
And it was really poorly timed, and even though no one's confirmed it, the fact that an official from Microsoft said that on Twitter, whether or not he's trying to downplay some of the stuff he said now by saying it was a joke between friends, but...
Motherfucker, everyone that follows you on Twitter is not your friend.
Yeah, exactly. And he just tacitly confirmed to the rumor mill that this is actually going to happen, that that Durango might actually require an always online connection. Like, that's crazy. Like, you just damned yourself. Like, I'm sure he got in some serious shit for that, whether it was a joke or not.
There could be caveats to the whole thing as well. Like, people have made the argument that Steam is technically always online, and no one seems to have an issue with that. I think I tried to, in my head, come up with a reason why people have no issue with Steam, and the idea of an always online Xbox is revolting to people. And I think it comes down to two things. Number one, with Steam, you only have to be online the first time you launch the game. Once you've done that, you never have to be online again for it. You can play it offline whenever you like. Secondly, I think it's a pill that's much easier to swallow, given that Steam everything is exclusively sold digitally. So in order to get any of that content, you have to have a decent internet connection.
Yeah, whereas
that's part of the service. Whereas with an Xbox, you can go to a shop and buy something physical. So in the average consumer's mind, why the hell do they need to be on the internet when they bought a physical copy of something?
To play the single player.
Well, the other, there's ways that explains why Microsoft would be thinking it. Because there's a lot of rumors that say that the new Xbox will have some sort of built-in PVR functionality, built-in personal video recorder in the system. And that they're going to have a big service and a lot of stuff attached to the idea that your Xbox is going to be much more than just a game console. It'll be this home networked, always-on, media superstation. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who are going to look at you and do I need an internet connection or don't I? And, even if it is a good idea and it makes them money, there's definitely going to be people picking the PS4 over the new Xbox if this goes down the way it sounds.
Yeah, look, it's all rumours at the moment. They still haven't announced that the next Xbox exists yet. You got to keep that in mind.
They're supposed to be doing that later this month.
Yeah.
Again, rumours.
Yeah.
So until they actually start announcing things, you can't really fall down one way or the other on this.
Yeah. Microsoft apologized for what Adam Orth said, but they still didn't confirm anything about the always online connection.
I get the impression, even though it's all rumours at the moment, that Microsoft seem to be going into this next generation the same way that Sony did with the PS3 and this last generation, which is so overconfident given their success that they're going to try and pull on the consumers, that they think the consumers are just going to buy up in droves because, hey, it's Microsoft and it's an Xbox, why wouldn't I do that? When the reality with PlayStation was, we're going to come out and charge you $600 for this. And everyone went, you.
Yeah. Actually, the direct quote was, you're going to need a second job to support your PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Why don't you just give me some of that money, man?
And look what happened. Sony lost so much traction over the course of the first couple of years of their sales. Yeah. And now they've realised their mistakes. They've had that learning curve. Microsoft haven't yet.
Well, the thing about the new Microsoft console is just, it's going to be really kind of crazy to see what their marketing campaign is, because it seems like Sony the PS4 is really capitalizing on, we're going to be the place for games, whereas the Xbox now has been like this, and the new Xbox certainly sounds like they're aiming at more of a 50-50 split. Like, yeah, we're going to cater to the gamers, but we also have this big push that we want to take over the living room with, the possibility of PBR support and a bunch of other things.
You know what else they didn't do? Wonderbook.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I think they're expecting, even if they don't get as many gamers to jump on the system, I think that they're hoping that the living room market, however you want to call that, is going to make up for any money they lost they lose, losing a couple gamers. And that might be true, but I can't think of anyone who would willingly ask for always online.
I don't know, dude. We'll have to see. I mean, Microsoft is really good about damage control. I remember the E3 where they showed Kinect to everybody, and they spent the entire E3 press conference showing off all these crappy games that hardcore gamers wouldn't want. It's like, oh, you can have your shape, or Kinectibles and all this other stuff. Like, they spent most of the time doing that, and maybe 20 minutes of the whole thing showing off the hardcore games that the peoples love.
Yeah, and if you think they're going into E3 this year with a different sentiment, you'd be very wrong.
Oh, no. But after that, there was a guy, he worked for a marketing company. Like, he was literally in the hallways of E3 at the convention center handing out his business card to all of the press. And he had a brand new Xbox, Seattle Sounders soccer jersey on. To let you know. I mean, it was literally brand new. You could smell the fact that it just came off a store shelf. And it's like, he's like, yeah, Microsoft still really cares about the hardcore gamers. We're not. I was like, really, dude? Did you see your press conference? And then at the end, that was the one where at the end they were like, oh, and the Xbox Slim. Yeah. And everybody here gets one, huh? Yeah. Huh? Like, that was their big reveal. And I remember we were sitting at my friend's house. And we were like, what the f***? That is a reveal. It's like the year before, or it was either the year before or the year before that. Like, they announced that they were going to get Final Fantasy, which ended up being a bust at the end. But at the time, I was like, "Oh my god, that's such a huge coup!" Sorry.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy's not going to be just PlayStation only and all this other stuff, and now they just seem to whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, Microsoft makes up for their fuck-ups with outspending in terms of marketing Nintendo and Sony by a massive margin. We said this before, but they spent $500 million advertising and hyping Kinect.
I know, and that's how I got one for free. Thank you, Burger King.
But the thing is, Microsoft's really pulled back from being all about the games. Like, they basically caved in and just let Sony become the leader in first-party titles. I mean, they just don't make a lot of first-party titles to push the Xbox. Whether or not that changes on the new one is something to see.
Well, in their minds, they've got a platform where the living room is going to open them up to a lot of more sort of services that can be charged monthly for. Plus, people are willing to pay for Xbox Live. They've proven that. So,
yeah, I mean,
the amount of money Microsoft have made off of Live over the past 7 years must be ridiculous.
Yeah, especially those people who pay Microsoft directly and don't go through one of the, go through Best Buy or Amazon
definitely.
or one of those places.
And I imagine that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. Like, Doc does that. My good friend Doc. He's like, oh yeah, I have them auto charge me. I'm like, dude, that's like $50. Well, it's $60 a month now, but it's like you can go to like Amazon from time to time and you pick up a year. Well, it'll be 13 months for $30.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about that. Like, I remember when everybody was upset when they were announced that the price of Live was going to go up $10, and they were like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "When was the last time you paid full price, huh?" It's like, if you're paying full price for Live, you're doing it wrong.
I expect most people who pay for Live actually do probably pay full price, but and they make double the money because you pay for Xbox Live, but you're still going to see all the ads. You're going to see some Dorito ads. You're going to want to see some Dorito ads.
And this is where I get back to my point, is that they're making so much money off of the tertiary services on Xbox Live that why do they need to publish first-party games anymore?
Yeah, and Pac-Man, I know you're a bit of the Sony fan, but the cross-console or the cross-console titles that have multiplayer, they tend to be better on the Xbox.
Well, they tend to have bigger communities on the Xbox.
No, they have better performance for the most part.
Well, I mean, there's definitely been some third-party titles that were just significantly better on 360.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of that has to do with the architecture of the PS3, which we've all talked about, which is why the new PS4 is so good, because it's more like a computer and not this one-off monstrosity that people have to teleport to.
The cell processor.
Anyway, but let's
move on.
Let's move on.
We're moving on. Oh man. Every week we have to tell more bad news for the Wii U, and this week it's no different. Aliens Colonial Marines is not coming to the Wii U.
Aw, that was the platform I was going to play it on as well.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's like up in the air. Is it because Aliens Colonial Marines is a bullshit title that's not going to make any money, or is it because even if it was good, it probably still wouldn't make any money on the Wii U anyway?
This is like a double punch to my face.
I'm not gonna lie, it seems like the Wii U would be the ultimate console to put that on because you have the screen and that can be the little motion sensor. But other than that, nah. It would be pretty bad.
Why is my console so
Take that, early adopter.
I just want to play some games, Nintendo. What's going on?
Well, this is Sega's fault. Sega's like, yeah, we're not doing that.
I know, but I still want to blame Nintendo.
It actually sounds like a good idea because it sounds like a total waste of money to release it on the Wii U.
Or would it be? Because I'm pretty sure Wii U players are like, man, I wish we had some games.
Nah, they ain't buying Aliens.
Even Wii U players aren't that desperate yet.
We've got Monster Hunter now. We're fine.
Oh, good. Now, from a non-story to a big story, Disney has decided to close Lucasarts, the gaming studio. Star Wars 1313, not going to happen. And that game that we were all geeked and hoped that would be Star Wars Battlefield Star Wars, wherever you want to put the colon, put it somewhere and make that game. Is probably not going to happen unless they sell off the
license rights.
The licensing.
There are two things I want to stipulate about this story. The first being that they have said that they will still opt towards licensing out their property for other developers to make the games.
Good. DICE, Battlefield Star Wars Battlefield. Make it happen. I want fully destructible fights on the Tatooine and wherever. Just don't send me to Naboo. I don't want to go there.
I wouldn't hold out too much hope for it, but, the option's there if they want to license the stuff out.
But also, Star Wars Battlefront, it needs to be a thing.
It would be great. And DICE would be perfect for it. They're busy making Battlefield games for EA at this point.
Yeah, they got to keep their FPS ship afloat.
The other thing to keep in mind is that people got really upset on Twitter about this. And to be fair, people lost their jobs. It's never a good thing. But you got to think from an industry perspective. When was the last time they made a profitable game?
I don't know.
The first Force Unleashed.
And even that must have been borderline, because that game didn't go down critically well at all. It was very mediocre.
The other thing is, the LucasArts closed down as a developer. They basically shuttered everything, and they turned like you said, the whole thing has LucasArts, the development studio, is gone, but it's still a licensing house.
Yeah.
So they can sell other stuff. But yeah, you're right. The writing has been on. No one, when you read the developer, fallout, and you read some of the stuff that people who worked at LucasArts or used to work at LucasArts, the writing's been on the wall for a long time that they weren't profitable. They weren't making money.
1313 could have turned it around, man.
But would it have come out? You got to keep in mind, LucasArts have been teasing games over the past decade that never came to fruition. And what did come to fruition? The Force Unleashed, which did mediocre. The second one did nothing. Well,
the thing was that they licensed out a lot of properties and had a lot of stuff made. There's a bunch of free to play games that they put out. There's a bunch of phone games they put out. There's the Clone Wars knockoff series, and none of that stuff. Nothing they've made has made the money that they put into it. They haven't been profitable in a long time. Force Unleashed 1 was their last really profitable game.
I don't even think that was that profitable. I can't imagine it was.
And even the stuff they licensed out, the biggest thing they licensed out was BioWare doing the Old Republic, and that was a colossal up.
So much money was lost.
Yeah.
But you can play it for free right now if you wanna.
But you don't really wanna.
You don't really wanna?
You don't.
No, you don't.
So it's sad that LucasArts is gone because there's only 2 or 3 video game development studios in the entire world that are older than LucasArts. I mean, they were literally 30 years old, maybe even older than that. I mean, that's a long time to be a development studio, and the only reason they were able to survive that long is because it was LucasArts and it was part of George Lucas's empire at the time.
I'm not even sure he knew they still existed.
Do you guys still make video games?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and it's bigger than this too, because Disney has really gone after a lot of the things that the Star Wars license had been doing. So, like, for instance, there's a comedy-based, I think, animated TV show that Seth Green created with George Lucas that has 42 completed episodes, and you're never going to see them.
Nice.
And that's crazy. Like, that's actually a finished project. And Disney's not going to... Because Disney's wants to refocus the entire Star Wars brand.
They've got this new cinematic universe being set up that they want to tie everything into, I imagine, and that's why all these cancellations are happening.
I just hope that Disney doesn't decide that, hey, we're going to develop the game because Epic Mickey, not good.
Well, Disney has decided that they're going to stick with the core things Disney does, but in terms of moneymakers, they're putting everything they have behind maximizing the money they get from the Marvel brand, which they own, and to maximizing the Star Wars brand that they just acquired. And those are going to be their two big new moneymakers for the next 10 years. And they've outright said that that's what it's going to be. And
keep in mind that Disney Infinity?
Something
like Skylanders ripoff that is going to make them shed loads of money.
Shed loads?
Shed loads.
Skylanders is just a pure moneymaker. Like, they recoup their initial investment for development and marketing costs in like the first month or something.
Yep.
And that's insane. That's a lot of money to recoup that quickly. And I've seen the stores that carry the different Skylanders, and if you see them on the shelves, they will not be on the shelves the next day.
Dude, have you ever seen people that go to like PAX and they get the free Skylanders that are like the PAX edition or whatever? Or the E3 edition or whatever, like one that is specific to a convention. They'll take it home, put it on eBay, and sell it for a couple $100.
Yeah, I bet.
And it was free.
Yep,
free.
And if you don't believe the Disney version of that is going to do equally well, then you're a mental person.
Oh no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And then the Nintendo version, that's really Pokemon, is gonna sell gangbusters too.
Yeah, man. The best part about that is they're going to be selling the characters in capsules.
So much money out there to be made.
Yeah.
I'm just expecting tons and tons of free-to-play, Marvel stuff and free-to-play Star Wars stuff and a whole bunch of really super generic, focus group tested bullshit from, using Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff. And some equally ridiculous movies, which we can hope will be good, but may possibly not be.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let's move on to the good part. Incredible Crisis! Oh, wait, no, it's spelt wrong.
Damn it, you ruined my segue. I was going to be like, hey, Kev he's looking forward to Incredible Crisis. You could be like, yeah. I was like, well, this ain't it. And then I was like, but it's Infinite Crisis. And you're going to be like, oh.
It was going to be a good segue. I regret the fact that I busted it open. So
I've been sitting here quiet because I'm like, oh, I'm going to spring in any second as soon as Pac-Man stops talking. Then Kev beat me to it. Damn it!
I apologize.
So Infinite Crisis, it's a MOBA game with DC characters in it, which is basically what we were saying we wanted last week or the week before that. We were saying we wanted one of these, and here it is.
Yay!
What? We actually said we wanted a free to play mobile game based on DC characters. I don't remember saying that.
No, but we did want like an old Dungeons and Dragons Gauntlet style game, and this kind of looks like that.
It's a MOBA game. It's not a Gauntlet style game.
Yeah.
MOBAs are a very specific genre that are kind of trending right now with League of Legends being so popular.
MOBA has basically strangled the strategy market to the point where if you're not a MOBA game, you're a point control game, and that's it as far as the big name strategy market goes. And I want to love League of Legends. The community makes me not want to love League of Legends.
Yeah, it's funny. The biggest douchebags play that game. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, League of Legends is the strategy version of the worst Call of Duty players could come up with. I mean, it's literally that type
Actually,
of
we
behavior.
banished all those guys and sent them right over there. We're like, hey, you're a douchebag on Call of Duty. You know what game's cool? League of Legends. You should go there and play that.
Well, I mean, that's MOBA is a lot faster. It's a lot more instant gratification than some of the bigger base building, grand strategy games. And I take some flack because I don't hate League of Legends. I think it's great that it has gone big in esports. But League of Legends is basically the only MOBA game that I ever really appreciated. The rest of the MOBA games out there, I play them once or twice and I never touch them again. I'm a StarCraft base building fan, so I give MOBA a lot of crap on Twitter, and people take issue with that. But most video games period suck, but most MOBA games in general are pretty fucking shitty, and they're almost always tied to some sort of microtransaction free-to-play setup now, and 90% of the time, they're nowhere near as good as League of Legends is.
I must say, best MOBA of the lot, Super Monday Night Combat.
I remember that. That game just didn't get enough support. I remember they had that, they released that as like an Xbox Live title. And it was fun, but the problem is they just didn't support it. It's like they gave us like one additional map, and then that was it.
That was the original one. Super Monday Night Combat came out as one of Pac-Man's dreaded free-to-play models, but it was just so much more improved.
I mean, there's definitely good of everything. There's exceptions to every rule, but...
yeah, but the douchebags play for free.
Well, no, I mean, the thing with MOBA is, like, I really dislike the idea that there's, characters and units fighting on my side that I can't specifically control.
I don't like the fact that there's no limit to how much money I can spend.
Well, I mean, free-to-play games are make their money off of, maybe 20% of the people who play them, because they suffer the same thing that gamblers do. They see something that they can buy and they can't stop themselves.
That doesn't make it okay.
No. It's the same logic casinos use to sucker people's money. Like, yeah, you have the choice, but you don't really have the choice. We've designed everything to make you want to spend money that you shouldn't really spend.
I once heard of someone spending $600 in League of Legends. That's a lot of money.
Oh, there are people that spend way more than that in League.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, man.
That's so much money. That's too much money. If you're spending more than $60, which is the cost of a full title, you're doing it wrong, man.
Man, $600, that's a new console for me. That's some games. That's rent. That's rent. You just spent rent on extras for a game. That's crazy.
That is crazy. On a game that was free.
Yeah, on a game that's free.
Let's move on to something crazy that is incredibly cool, though.
That I want to give my money to.
Hell yes, take our money.
Shut up and take my money, Ubisoft. Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, DLC.
If Ubisoft had a leg, I would be humping it.
Give me Far Cry 3 DLC. I'll buy it. I'll play the shit out of it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I love me some Far Cry 3.
This looks so good.
Yeah, so it's basically we all thought the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon thing was an April Fool's joke because it came out right around April 1st.
First of all, I can let you know right now that Ubisoft is not funny.
No, yeah, they're not good at funny. But it looks like Blood Dragon is actually real. Now, we don't know if it's, traditional DLC or if it's an actual big expansion pack or a standalone pack or whatever, but it looks awesome. It's all 80s themed, and I'll post the link in when the show goes live, but some of the songs from what we think are some of the songs from the soundtrack have leaked as well, and they sound awesome. It's all that dark synth 80s music from all the basically think of any 80s action movies intro and the music that you hear in those movies, and that's the music they've put for this game for Blood Dragon. It looks fucking sweet.
When I think action movies from the 80s that have soundtracks, I think the power of love. It's a curious thing.
Did you just watch Back to the Future?
I did.
You did.
As you should do every day.
But the screenshot shows stuff like cyborg ninjas and guys wearing cool 80s sunglasses. And I'm not sure, but I think I saw a white sports jacket a la Miami Vice back in the day.
You know what, dude? They can all get shot with the bow and arrow.
Hell
all of
yeah.
them.
I can't wait for it. It looks, the screenshots combined with the sort of musical cues they're working with, it's, man. Oh, I want this.
Shut up and take our money. We want it.
And they've said it's going to be like a full island that you get to go around on, right?
Retro Island?
Yeah, man.
Miami Vice Island?
Just give us some dinosaurs to hunt as well, and this will be the best game ever.
Dude, Turok, man. This game would kick the crap out of Turok.
Ugh.
Actually, that's the next expansion. Dude, they should totally do that, because Star Trek. Jurassic Park is in 3D in theaters right now. They could have teamed up. Spielberg would have paid for half of it, and it would have been amazing. And you could meet, Dr. Grant or Jeff Goldblum at some point on the island. It would have been amazing. Why is this not happening? We got ideas, man.
I'll pay money for any game where I get to meet Jeff Goldblum on an island.
You spent all this time figuring out if you could, and you really should have been deciding whether or not you should.
I want him to caress my hand. You see, the funny thing is, the hairs on the back of your hands. Tell me more, Jeff Goldblum.
When the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. I just want him to walk around going, that is one big pile of
Nature finds a way. Nature finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Was that life? Life finds a way?
Life finds a way.
So the dinosaurs go around looking up the dinosaur skirts, or... This is Jurassic Park podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're changing genres.
Oh, yeah.
Shifting into the right lane.
Well, speaking of big things like dinosaurs, it's time for the big issue of the week. EA is on track to being the 2-time worst company in America. Yeah, and Peter Moore is like, no.
We're not the worst company in America.
No, we didn't. It's like, how can we be the worst in America? We closed the studio in Canada, so you guys.
Let's be really clear for a sec. He's absolutely right.
He is. Peter Moore's no dummy.
This was a ridiculous situation last year when they got voted worst company in America. There are just so many worse companies.
Yep, like Bank of America, who did banking with tourists.
Well, the thing about it is right now, EA is it's a bracket system. So the poll that decides the worst company in America is from the consumerist.com, and public can vote for it, and there's brackets. So right now, EA for the worst company in America is up against Ticketmaster, and if you know anything about how much Ticketmaster fucks with their customers, that's a pretty reasonable grievance. And then if it beats Ticketmaster, it then has to go and beat Bank of America and or Comcast to become the worst company in America this year. And last year they got the main two things that got them the top spot for worst company in America was their support of SOPA and the end of Mass Effect 3. Now, the end of Mass Effect 3, like, I hated the end of Mass Effect 3, but I don't think that's a reason to call EA the worst company in America. And the thing with SOPA is, and Peter Moore has defended this, is saying, oh, EA didn't support SOPA. And that's true and not true. EA didn't support SOPA. EA, Electronic Arts, directly said that they were against SOPA. But EA, Activision, and a lot of the other big publishers gave money to lobbying groups that did support SOPA. So, yeah, you kind of did fuck yourself in that regard. And the Mass Effect 3 ending, Fandango, really played against them. A lot of people took the time to vote against them for the Mass Effect 3 ending. Mm-hmm. But you talk about companies that do banking with terrorists and have started the mortgage crisis and oil spills. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of companies that
the oil spill companies, BP, they're British-based, so they can't be the worst company.
Well, I mean, there's been other... I mean, even right now, there's 3 oil spills in America right now. So there's 2 more in Canada. So there's always companies that are way worse than a media company that produces video games. I mean, really.
Well, one of the things he's like, some people say that Origin can't compete with Steam. It really can't. He's like 45 million registered users. It's like, but are they buying anything, or did they just sign up to get SimCity and then the free game, or just the free game? Well,
I mean, a lot of Origin's registered users is because they don't sell a lot of their games digitally on other retailers. They pulled a lot of stuff. They no longer sell some of their stuff on Steam. There's a lot of locked-in exclusive stuff that you can only get if you buy it directly from Origin.
Yep.
But Origin also doesn't, just like Steam doesn't, they don't share their direct sales numbers for digital sales.
Yeah.
So everything is based on insider information and estimates by analysts.
Yeah.
But there's a huge difference between Steam is 10 times as big as Origin. I think they said they passed the 100 million mark. Steam did just recently. Mm-hmm. And that's for active customers buying stuff.
Yeah, the people that spend $50 and get 200 games.
But Peter Moore released a statement just recently, just talking about why EA. Just, it's a mea culpa. He said that that EA could do better.
Yeah. Oh, because like some people claim that free to play games and microtransactions are a pox on gaming. Tens of millions are playing and loving those games. It's like, dude, just because it's popular, don't make it right.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is if you put a popular brand name onto something, you'll get people to play it whether or not it's good or not. Now, would people be playing those free to play games with with microtransactions if they weren't free to play and didn't have microtransactions? Probably. They would want to be playing those games either way.
Well, my big philosophy is like I've said before, is like if you can't convince me that this game is worth, $40, $50, $60, why should I play it and then spend my time?
Well, I mean, the follow through on free to play and microtransaction heavy games is really low.
Well, look at how many games actually succeed with the free to play model.
Well, that's.
I mean, there are a lot. I mean, how long has Rift been in beta?
What?
Is it Rift still in beta?
No, man, that came out ages ago.
Is it? Am I thinking of... No, I'm thinking of Firefall, sorry.
Oh, Firefall. No, yeah, I mean
that game has been at PAX and E3 for the last, 3 years, pimping
I was just about to say, I think they're just PAX exclusive at this point.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, we're still doing it. It's like, but they have this humongous booth, and it's like, so they must be doing all right in beta mode, because Jesus.
But the thing about free... I read an article a while ago, I think it was on Game Politics, where they were just talking about, lots of people play free-to-play games with microtransactions, but the follow-through is most people only play free-to-play games with microtransactions and stuff like that in a heavy way for a short period. Like, I know myself, I've played lots of free-to-play games, but I basically play them for a week, maybe two, and I never touch them again. Lots of people have logged on and paid maybe $1 or $2 at one time for these games, but they don't stick with those games long-term.
And you can't count games that have microtransactions that people don't have to use, like Dead Space.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back and continue to put money into a free-to-play game that I played 6 months ago, but I'm still putting money into Battlefield. I'm still putting money into StarCraft. I'm still putting money into lots of games.
As you damn well should, sir.
But so he, his defense that Origin can compete with Steam, that's a little weird. But he did admit that game servers getting shut down too early was a screw-up. Games that didn't meet expectations was a screw-up. Missteps on new pricing models and the fumbling of SimCity's launch. He admits that all those things were bad and that EA could do better. But he also doubled down, saying SimCity's always online functionality is not a DRM scheme, even though it clearly is. But he specifically says, we can't be any clearer. It's not a DRM scheme, period. Now, whether or not you want to call it that, you can call it whatever you want, but that is what it is. It is. There's nothing in SimCity that required it to be always online. All of their multiplayer functionality stuff that they tied to always online is this thing that other games called multiplayer. Stat tracking, being able to send chat messages to your friend, being able to coordinate gifting and trading things. All that stuff has happened before in lots of other games in things called multiplayer. They only went always online because it was part of a DRM scheme. I mean, it is. Whether or not that was their core reason, that's the result.
So if you would like to have EA be the worst company 2 years in a row, by all means, head on over to the website, which is theconsumerist.com, and vote.
Vote for a company that really deserves it, though. It's easy to hate EA, but they're not the worst. And the other thing is, I didn't realize it, but I looked it up before the show. There are multiple conservative religious groups that have started letter-writing campaigns, boycotting campaigns, all sorts of stuff, attacking EA for their support of LGBT characters, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered characters, and issues in their game. Saying that you shouldn't have those characters in the game. It shouldn't be targeted to kids. Blah, all the usual super crazy religious right-wing bullshit. And EA has said that we will never change our stance on those issues. And if you want to criticize us for supporting those groups, then go ahead. And that's good. EA shouldn't bow to the fringe left or the fringe right. And I think their support of those of LGBT groups and characters is awesome. They're one of the few major companies that's made no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're genuinely one of the few companies who are actively pursuing those routes. And given that they're one of the top 3 publishers in the world, that's an important thing.
It's a really big thing. So voting against them because of that is that actually makes you kind of an evil person. You know, it does. EA done f***ed up a lot. SimCity was a f*** up. You know, EA's been the champion of games as a service, which 1 out of 15 games being a good games as a service game does not make that a good idea.
Yep.
But
you know, it is a good idea wrapping this show up because we out of time, Jack.
Wrap it up. Keep yourself protected, kids.
Yep. We got some shout outs here from the iTunes sections of the iTunes. We got Rip Redwood, Pimpin123, Corey was here, 1212, and Wise Guy 801 from the US of A, and Craig MCC and Gorehound from the United Kingdom. I gotta say, you know, Kev, me and you, our countries of origin, representing.
Doing good work.
Where you at, Canada? Huh?
I went to check on the comments on the Canadian iTunes store, and because we've taken over the WTF feed, a lot of the current reviews and stuff like that are for stuff that's been on WTF, and I'm like, oh,
no,
man,
they're not. It's not even WTF. It's
goes back to the old Red show.
Yeah, it goes back to that show that was on here before. That now
oh man, yes. So some of the stuff is like, you know, I didn't realize the dates behind it, so some of the stuff didn't make any sense. And then I realized, no Canadians have given us a review yet.
So where you at, Canada?
So I might have to go in and give our show a review.
I'm gonna kick this bitch off.
Get up and represent.
Just so we can get things started.
Yeah. I checked the Australia and the New Zealand as well. We got one from Aussie land last week. But if you're in a place and you left us a review, send me an email or at dave@BigRedBarrel.com or go to the website and let us know, because, you know, if you're in the Gulf of Oman, I don't know to go there. I mean, there's a lot of iTunes sections now. I need to know. I mean, if you're from Micronesia, let me know I need to go there. I will go there, and I will give you your shout-out, because that's the kind of guy I am.
We will actively visit the iTunes store that is based in Uzbekistan if we need to find someone to give a shout-out to.
Yes! Dedicated. You're dedicated enough to leave us a review. We are dedicated enough to read it.
Searching very hard for approval.
Yes. We love the love. But, Pac-Man, you got some forum shout-outs? And is this everybody this time, or
I didn't cut out anyone from this week's shout-outs.
PMPBWTF.
I saw quite a bit of those.
And you know what? All the people who did that are people who've gotten multiple shout-outs already. But it's okay. I didn't cut anyone out this week, so shout-outs to Dangerous Brian. Shout-outs to Fire Muncher. Shout-outs to good old Bilbo T. Baggins. Shout-out to Switters, Saul Jackal, Yoshi Fett, Orox?
Sounds good.
Aurochs.
And Steroid Tulip. and I don't know, something about that sounds kind of dirty.
What? That's a tough tulip, man.
Anyway, and Kev's got a little something to say as well.
Yeah, you want to go over to Twitter, guys, and follow us at Dave_BRB. That's for Dave. I'm at Krelith. At. And Pac-Man is at PacManPolarBear.
At Polar Bear Pac-Man?
At the Polar Pac.
Don't confuse the people. It's at at PacManPolarBear is the way you can find me just about everywhere.
So yeah, get over to iTunes as well. Give us a review. And come on over to BRB on Facebook. Like that. Subscribe to BRB TV on YouTube. There is more BRB TV content coming soon. I assure you all. We are also setting up a Twitch stream at some point in the future. We're going to get into that live streaming mess. It's going to be good. We're going to get hopefully to the point where I can just set up a Twitch stream, start playing games, and any member of BRB can just jump into the Skype chat and we can just talk mess over some games.
Yeah.
Should be good fun. Also, I want to give a quick shout out for Tim, who has told me that for those who are interested in that London board game meetup that happened in the loading bar last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, there's another one coming up. This time it's in memory of Lucasarts, so they're going to be playing a lot of old Lucasarts games in the bar. And keep tuned to Tim for more information on that, but it sounds really cool.
And keep an eye out for a BioShock Infinite spoiler cast at some time in the near future. The boys just recorded that today.
Yeah, we've just recorded that tonight, and that will be up soon. That stars myself, Yoshi Fett, Tim, and Fisherman from Talking Ship. So representing a bunch of podcasts.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of UK accents battling it out for the title of most unfollowable. especially once Tim kicks it into overdrive.
Oh yeah,
That's just him in normal mode.
there is no overdrive. It's all.
But the spoiler cast, I'm sure, just delved into the important things like, is the bird dead? I think it is.
You'll have to listen.
I think that bird on the necklace is dead.
You'll have to listen and find out.
And we've got bonus content for this episode that we will be recording shortly.
Yeah, if you got one of those apps they are on, I believe it's in the Google Play Store now. I'm not sure. I know that it is on the Android Amazon Marketplace, in the iTunes, wherever you get stuff in your iPhone or iPad. It's there too. It's $2.99 one-time fee, and you get to listen to 10 to 15 more minutes of us every week. Or pretty much every week.
And who knows what kind of crazy we'll talk about, because it could be anything.
Thank you once again for listening to the Birdcast.
Stay frosty.
Ladies.
Big Red Barrelcast.
Jazz hands.
Your ears are quite welcome
for the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
to BigRedBarrel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.